Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I am your cadet master, Giraffe, and I am joined by the best bridge crew this side of the Golden Gate. I messed it up. We're trying new things, people, today. I am very thrown out. The best faculty this side of the Golden Gate Bridge. Dean Hawk is here. Hi.
Hello.
Practicing his release the drones.
That was epic.
And Professor MC is blooming Vitus Reflux for personal use only.
Oh, is Giraffe frozen?
I think she
He is frozen.
I'm here. What is happening?
I don't know. You froze for a sec there. There was an awkward silence.
No. Welcome back to S&P Academy. How we doing?
trying new things.
Yeah. Try
Yeah.
new things, boldly
I have
going
to-
where we've never
I have
gone
to tell
before.
to everybody, we're trying a new way of like.
In case we're the ones that are still on streaming while Giraffe is frozen, we're trying a new way to stream, and
Yes.
and we're kind of trying to work out the kinks.
And we're trying out SteamYard this week because we're trying to basically integrate more into Twitch and kind of expand, the sources that we can platform on. So, but yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come on for a minute while we wait for
Hey!
Giraffe to be unfrozen. I don't have the outline in front of me, so I'm gonna wait for her to come back. It's gonna be like this for a minute, folks. And if she can't come back, I'm just gonna let everybody know right now. If Giraffe can't come back and this is like being slow and annoying for her, we're gonna stop the stream because we're experimenting tonight. I'm gonna quickly create a new event on YouTube, and we'll do this the old-fashioned way. But this is a way to get to more people because we're also streaming on Twitch and Facebook right now. So we will. Giraffe goes, everything was great, and now it's not. So we're gonna give her a minute to come back and see if we can help with getting her connection a little bit better. I'm going to just shoot the shit for a moment. What are we thinking about Starfleet Academy, folks?
I am liking it more with each episode. I was kind of cool on it for the first episode, and I liked episode 2. And well, we're gonna have to get into how I feel about episode 3.
Same. It was episode 2 that, kind of really got me in. And then I did the rewatch of 1. And, all the concerns I had about the teen drama are kind of done. I'm just invested now.
We've got Giraffe back.
I think you gave me too much power.
I think I might have given you too much power.
It overloaded your war core. Jesus.
Hey, listen, it was all great and dandy and everything was fine. And then everything crashed. I am so sorry.
No, it's okay. We're working out. I'm gonna go again. And a Giraffe, I did let people know if it happens again. I told them what's gonna happen is we're gonna quit out of this. We're gonna create a new event real quick on YouTube, and we're gonna go on to OBS and do it the old-fashioned way.
Fine now, but it was also fine for like half an hour until we went live. So nobody knows.
This is what happens when we try new things. So we'll figure it out. I'm gonna go. It's Giraffe show. We'll see you in a bit. Hopefully not. Hopefully I won't see you in a bit.
Oh, I hope I won't see you. Love you, but won't see you.
Love you. Have a good show.
Sorry everyone. It's working now, right?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope everybody's doing fine. I am back. This week we're gonna review episode 3 of season 1 of Starfleet Academy, written by Alex Taub and Kylie Rossiter, directing by Doug Arniokoski. While our cadets compete to join an elite team at the Academy, a battle of escalating pranks breaks out between Starfleet Academy and a rival school, the War College. Tensions rise fast, threatening their newly emerging bonds and blossoming romances. I stopped myself from doing too many heated rivalry jokes. I hope the Canadians on the show will appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Not as a Canadian, but as somebody who likes boys kissing.
Yes, I know. All I know about hockey is thanks to that show now.
That's a very bad representation.
That is all I know.
Or is it the best representation we could get?
Before speaking of heated rivalry, MC, please, we need to thank our amazing patron collective at the Ready Room level and above, please.
Thanks to Simon Stager, Jeff Reeve, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Keng Hui, Tataka Nagumo, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Colin Davidson, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Maggie Light, Wayne Ritz, Skona Vark, Sean, Jay Howard, Mehalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Joshua Lewis, Tara Poland, Slope 74, Rude Parakeet, Adam Sanders, Amy the Magic Snail, Aaron W., Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jim McMahon, Sedano 317, Puka Hair, 3 Fries Short, Kate Tip, Tripping the Reelert Over a Pineapple, Sean Manning, Asher at the Bat, Chris Waterman, RHCB, Martin Simpson, Norman Buckwald, David Prime Hildebrand, Taryn J. Robinson, Rob Grinner, Eric the Red, Treble, Jamie Roberts, Honeyberry, Paul Taylor Pitt, Brett Jones, Michelle P., Martin Walker 82, Treble, Jamie Roberts. I think I started to repeat.
Wait, Melissa Bartel, Jesse Robin, Kim, Chris Manolio, Felix Dax, Kelly McKinnon, Chief Petty Officer Snuggles, Lisa Moore, Kirsten Beyer, Big Easy Blasphemy, and Christian Smith.
I was doing so well for a while there.
You were doing so good.
Yes, you were.
And then I was like, into loop.
And it's just to make up for me disappearing like literally a minute into the show. And of course, a big thank to our bad murals or EPs who make sure that our Calico games do not spill too much blood. Yes.
Yes.
Without permission. Simon Steger, Chris Waterman, Tara Poland, Dana, Matt Harker, Jim McMahon, Maggie Light, Faf, and Michael Graham. Thank you.
Thank you once again.
So before talking of 103, I just want to go back to one thing that we said on 102. So, as you may know, if you listen to our review on 102, I asked people and I told them, we don't know sign language. We don't know ASL. And if you can tell us what's going on in 102, if they're actually signing in ASL, what they're saying, are there like any differences? Please let us know. And the thing is that I met that really cool person at the New Yorker waiting when I was there for the premiere, Eric, and Eric signs and sent me a very short. I mean, it was not short, but we tried to shorten it, but it's very interesting about ASL and also how the deafism, I like that, I learned that word from Eric, and also CODA. So CODA is children of deaf adults. Saw that episode and what they read into it, and I thought, Strange New Pod is all about like different vision of Star Trek, and that would be great for our listeners and also for you guys to listen to it. So now I'm gonna do magic. Please don't kick me out thing, please. And I'm gonna play this, okay? Let's go.
Hello, my new friend Giraffe, who is not my friend Rosa. How are you? So yes, they are using ASL. And I watched the episode last night with my friend Steven, who also knows ASL, and we were both completely shook. Number one, like seeing deaf culture represented in Star Trek after 60 years is so amazing and long overdue and super welcome. And showing the family using ASL together. So the president's 2 kids are CODAs. So one of the main cast members is a CODA, which is so awesome. But we were shook, number one, because seeing deaf culture and sign language used in Star Trek. But number 2, the fact that it was specifically American Sign Language. And we have so much headcanon around that. Like, what I'm asking in the video, well, what I'm saying in the video, first of all, is how hot the main character is. But second, questioning, like, do you think that on Beta Z they are using ASL, or is it the universal translator also visually changing the language into like American Sign Language, the same as it changes other spoken languages? So that's the question I'm posing. I was just asking my deaf Trek friends if they knew, or if they had any headcanon about that. And I'm so interested to hear how that's going to play out later. Like if they're going to talk about it, if it's going to be more of like the plot or like a cultural point in the series. Because in the deaf community, like there's so much discussion around the use of technological advancements that are essentially wiping out deaf culture, because it is its own culture, it's its own language. And so seeing that even in the 32nd century, there are still people who are immersed in the language and using it, using a sign language rather than using a technological aid to be able to hear. It's really special. That's really cool.
Damn.
And here we go. Thank you so much, Eric. I am so glad we met. And I thought that perspective was super interesting to everyone that talked about the episode. So I don't know if you have anything you want to add, but I feel that's really Star Trek when like people from different, group like just recognize themselves, and it brings them into like the future and what it means for the culture in the future. I really like that. Hawk, you were saying, sorry.
It's amazing. Like, when Trek makes that effort to kind of, show something from another side of a culture that we're not really familiar with, and that like instantly, like people's like kind of pick up on it, and they just like, they seem to love it. That comment he made about like, how technological innovations were, kind of doing things to wipe out deaf culture. Like I know that's been going on since like, the early 90s now, when the cochlear implants were introduced. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to hear like, people talk about that, because it's something we don't normally get a lot of.
Yeah. Talking about whether or not its ASL is being translated by the universal translator, I think if we're actually going to look at that, that is going to depend on whether or not the universal translator actually translates written languages. I don't think we've ever discussed whether or not the universal translator covers visual language.
Yeah, I thought that, I never thought of, I just didn't think of it when I watched the episode. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, because it's the 32nd century. So what is possible? We don't know. So thank you again. And I love this. I love when people like send me their feedback about, our review or about the episode. Like, I just learned something, and I thought I wanted everybody to learn something too. And now to go back to our scheduled programming. Anybody has news? Anybody? Any news? No news?
No, we're all just freezing to death in Canada right now.
I have a few news. So first of all, our Melissa Navia interview is out on Alternative Space for anybody that wants to listen to Emmy Himoff interviewing Melissa Navia. Please go to where you find your podcasts. I also recorded with Jesse Gender, sci-fi commentary in general. It's called genre friction. I cannot say that thing. It should be out tomorrow if you want to give it a listen. We talk Starfleet Academy and other things. And also the Session 0 of Strange New Adventure, The Cries of Mars, drops this Sunday. We released the opening credit and a first look at the crew of the USS Thunder Bay.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I may have something to do with the look of the crew.
Did you?
Yes, you do. This is really cool. And now that I am the master of everything, I actually have the sound of the Strange New Loop. The power. The power invested in me, guys.
Oh, give her a whirl.
Let's go. Yay! So for today's Strange New Loop, we're speaking about prank. If you had to prank any crew of Star Trek, who would you prank? Extra bonus if you have a prank in mind.
Ooh.
What do you think is the best at taking a prank?
Best at taking a prank?
Taking a prank, it's absolutely the Cerritos crew.
Yeah.
You think Captain Freeman would be into it?
I actually do, because Freeman can be like, I mean, it would cause a gigantic prank war, but like Freeman could be really petty. And it's kind of like on the same level as the rest of the Cerritos crew. She just likes to pretend she's better.
I like that.
Oh, probably. I think the Voyager crew would actually, even given the stressful situation, I think that, they and Captain Janeway would probably be, take a prank the best. Janeway's got the competitive spirit. She'd want to, fight back. So yeah, I'd say the Voyager crew. As far as an actual prank,
Starting a prank with Jane, a prank war with Janeway, you're a brave man.
I know. I haven't thought of an actual prank, so
Now, I don't know if the Cerritos crew would be the crew that I would actually want to prank, but I think actually I might want to go for the original TOS crew. And I mean, I have a great role model for it. Watch the episode The Practical Joker.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, will you write that Kirk is the jerk? The back of the nice. Any ideas on in the chat? I think I would like to prank maybe the crew of Discovery, just because they don't seem easily prankable, and I think it's an interesting challenge. And I would like to see the humoristic side of them all, like who takes a prank, who does not. I don't think we've explored that side of that crew.
Yeah.
Can I just prank Neelix? I mean, isn't Neelix a prank by itself? Like,
oh shit!
I feel pranked all the time.
Why are you here?
You combine him with Tuvok again.
Which era of Discovery?
That is actually a really good question.
That's a great question. I have too much power. I need to stop with the chat. I think the 32nd century one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't go over well with Larkus, I don't think.
Though I would love to prank emo Spock.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens. Just to see what happens.
I want to steal all of his razors.
Which razors? The guy doesn't like.
Well, I just want to make sure he doesn't end up becoming the guy in Strange New Worlds.
Well, Thank you. Any more answers in the chat? No. Well,
We've got a couple. We've got Eric the Red said he'll be bold and say DS9.
That is Eric. This is indeed a very, very bold statement. I would be scared to start a prank war against Cisco also.
Yeah, he
yeah.
punched a omnipotent being.
Also, the whole baseball thing, like the guy has no chill, man.
He really doesn't. Which that involved punching somebody too, I believe.
Yeah, like literally.
Cisco will punch a dude. Yeah, and Davey pointed out in the chat that the Voyager cast, like the actual cast, performed a lot of pranks on each other.
Yeah, Worf.
Worf.
Pranking Worf, yeah. Mr. Wolf. Thank you, everyone. Let's go to the academy. This is the morning of gym day. No, I'm not. I don't know you, but like gym day was not my jam when I was at school.
No,
and
not at all.
Nope.
We finally get acquainted with the infamous War College. Is this a tea party? So heated rivalry again between Darum and Genesis, trying to see who will get to do the most before 4 a.m. Insane. This is not my jam. I have to do that. It's not my jam. Waking up at 3 a.m. No, absolutely not.
I'm sorry, I'd still be awake.
Yeah, exactly. I would still be awake at 3 a.m. That's how it goes. And that rivalry between Darum and Genesis is going to be the least of the cadets' problem when the War College posse enters the field, led by the Romulan Zolo. The kids are starting shit. Hitting on Mir, trying to provoke reaction. What do you think of the introduction of that new group of kids, the mirror cadets? The Zolo,
they're like Delta
Romulan.
Shift, right?
That's what I was thinking is Delta Shift.
Yeah, the Zolo, the Romulan. I mean, Ivari Romulan. Biavi, the Vulcan, and Kyle. Just Kyle. A very heated beginning of the episode. The hormones are high. What do you think of the beginning of that episode? We're gonna go Hawk and then MC.
I actually really like the cold open. It was so interesting. It was actually really funny seeing the Caleb's room and his half versus Darren's half. Completely messy on one side. Just you could eat off the floor on the other side. The 5 a.m. The 5 a.m. thing, waking up to exercise, and that notice how he said it's the regiment that we agreed upon when he's composing the letter to the father.
Yeah,
that's pretty telling. Yeah, and then the whole thing with them versus War College. This is for a teen drama, and that yes, you do need nemesis, and yes, the War College posse and that has stepped up to be the nemesis for these kids.
Yeah, so I cannot relate at all to this whole regimented. I'm going to wake up at ridiculous o'clock in the morning to work out. Apparently, we've decided that I can never, ever be a member of Starfleet because, I mean, like, these are the nerd kids who are, but no, it's still very militaristic. Now, this episode is exactly what I wanted from Starfleet Academy. Like, we introduced the rivals in, and the whole school doesn't, like, this is the reason why they introduced the War College. Like, I know Julian has talked about how he didn't like the idea of the War College, but this episode is like, prove to me, oh, this is exactly why they did it, because you need to have that, rival school. But kind of the way they've set up Starfleet Academy, it is kind of the only game in town in terms of studying for Starfleet, unless you get into your Vulcan Science Academy, which we don't know the state of that now. And I mean, I could go on.
We know they still have a science academy of some sort because Michael talks to them.
Yeah.
Like the Nivari Science Academy or something like this.
Yeah. But yeah, so doing it this way is a really great way to get that rivalry going that is just so tropey for school set shows.
Mhm.
And I would have been disappointed if they had not had it. Like, I did not even realize until starting this episode. It's like, oh, I absolutely needed this. So yeah, having like these, and the kids that they chose to be the rivals. I mean, a Romulan and a Vulcan, first of all, having both of them together, very nice. You know, Navarre strong. But
Hashtag Nivar strong. The mascot is a sellout.
but I mean, like, none of them, especially not the Vulcan, really comes off as like, it doesn't seem like this would be like the aggro war college bullies. So I mean, honestly, the academy kids seem more hot-blooded.
Yeah, it doesn't seem particularly malicious, right?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if you're the war college and that, you know, it's like I think there were kind of rougher things that they could do. I don't know. We want to keep this light, you know, and I think so far they've done a good job of, you know, doing successful pranks, but still, you know, kind of keeping it within, you know.
I think what is very interesting is that, you know, having them together, like, imagine the War College is 120 years institution or something, like 100, let's say 110, right?
Yeah.
There are like the institution. It's like the West Point of Earth, right?
Mhm.
And then they bring like these like kids, and they're literally a test. Like, they don't know how Starfleet is gonna do. They don't know how the Federation is gonna do. And I really like the fact that, well, those kids mostly getting into the War College is not easy, right? Again, it's like, yeah, West Point, right? And they're there, and then there's like these bunch of random that get into the same playing field. And yeah, they're arrogant, but also it's their house technically.
Yeah.
Oh,
they called Starfleet, you know, the whole first Academy class a concept.
Yeah, and they are. I mean, again, like, those kids most probably like grew up wanting to go to the War College, you know. And what is interesting also is to see a diverse a class of the War College, like you see with the Nivari, right? And I'm interested into. I thought the dynamic very interesting, because imagine that is an institution on Earth, and Starfleet Academy is something foreign. I mean, 120 years, like, there must be some people that are still alive for sure, including Nala, but not that many. And I feel that also it is an interesting setup for to put out, like, you know, aggressivity, because I think that in that show, well, you're gonna have to have some, like, you know, headbutting and so on, and a little bit of fight, but you cannot. It gives it a very structured way to do it and a very safe way to do it. So I like that. I love the War College kid. Again, I was fascinated to see the Vulcan and the Romulan being pals, which in Discovery you see that there's still tensions with the adults between the Romulans and the Vulcan, and you have also a Romulan Vulcan in the people that Michael meets. And I thought it was just like a very layered thing happening. You could see a lot of anxiety from a lot of people, a lot of pent up aggression. So I thought it was really interesting. And I love that the Vulcan concept of fun has become very Romulan. I love dickish Vulcans are back. I'm here
Dickish
for it.
Vulcans are always great. I do have to say, you know, it's a shame that with all of that tension, that there's no other world other than Earth that they could have set Starfleet Academy up on. Oh, wait, there are many Federation worlds that they could have set up Starfleet Academy on.
I think it's a lot of trying to hit, like, you know, symbolism when you try to bring back an institution. And the campus of people have been telling me it is not San Francisco, it is South Salito. I was like, I know, but only Bay Area people care.
Yeah.
So I think it's symbolic, right? It's
Yeah.
really symbolic to go back to the Boothby Memorial, and we see that place in Discovery in People of Earth. So I think it's interesting. There was a question in the chat that was about the War College existing in Discovery. I cannot find it right now.
Yeah, it was
here.
Davey who asked.
Was the War College ever mentioned in Discovery? I don't think it is mentioned, but
No, I
we
don't
know
think
that Starfleet Academy does not exist anymore. But we see the grounds, so we know the grounds is still a school because the crew of Discovery go to the tree in the middle of the campus. But I don't think they talk about it. Yeah. All of this is going to come to a culmination with the Kalika Games. Who is going to be chosen to be the Kalika captain? How are those cadets are going to train? Will the War College or Starfleet Academy dominate? Who will lead their own posse? Because at this point, they're all cliques. All cliques to me. Everything starts to heat up when the War College beams out all our cadets from their co-ed lockers, by the way, in various places of the Academy. We get some eye candy here and there. Thank you. Thank you, whoever.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
We appreciate it. And boy, this is war, a prank war. What do you think of this cold open in general? And maybe a new kind of storyline for Star Trek, like a prank war? I mean, we had some pranks here and there. Are we going too much in the teen drama that everybody has been so dreading in the internet?
If you're still here by episode 3, then you've kind of like put that dread aside. I have at this point. So I'm perfectly fine going into this. I'm engaged with these characters. I want to see what happens to them next. And with this prank, it's oddly fitting for Star Trek, because this is the stuff like the senior officers in previous shows would talk about, probably amongst themselves. Remember when we did this back in the day and that we pranked this and that? It's pranks in college is just, that long lasting trope. So they're exploring it the Star Trek way in that, and beaming out those kids from the gym and depositing them in Temporal Mechanics class, or the fountain. Sam taking a bath for the first time, as she mentioned.
Oh, and she does not have ribs.
No,
and she's not porous; she's permeable.
Exactly. No, it's totally fitting for the dynamic of the show and that, and I think they did a wonderful job with it so far. And especially that little message afterwards, and that we did this because we could. That is so arrogant,
so Romulan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
MC.
It would have been absolutely disingenuous if they had made a show called Starfleet Academy and they had not done shit like this. Like, if you look at the last episode, I know in the review that I did come off as very negative about a lot of the stuff in the episode, but actually, the main plot with the negotiations with Beta Z, I really enjoyed that stuff. The only problem is, it's not the most appropriate for that kind of stuff to happen every week to cadets. That's when you start to get into a Star Trek 09 situation where it's just these are jumped up cadets, acting like actual officers, which is something that if you listen to our Wants and Don't Wants episode, which I think turned out very well, you will actually hear me talking about that. I did not want that. I want them doing young adult shit, and this is definite young adult shit. And starting with a prank war is just absolutely perfect. I love utilizing the transporters to do it. That's such a Star Trek-y thing. So it's not like it's just your regular teen drama. It's still Star Trek. And yeah, no, it was just super cute the way they did it. I loved Sam being wanting to get back at them, but also being kind of excited about all of it because it's Sam. and it's great. And, I do feel like a dirty old woman by, enjoying, this co-ed locker room and everybody being teleported out, like either half naked or fully naked. And I do have to say, like, it's very much this co-ed locker room is going back to like the Cerritos with the lower deckers being in like co-ed showers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like,
and co-ed bunk beds also.
Yeah, we're staying with continuity. So I'm loving all of this. This whole game. Like, I mean, I know we're going to be getting more into it, but
Oh yeah, we are.
but we've already started a little bit. I like that it is these two who are really looking to be the captain. Like, I was kind of worried. It's like, oh shit, are we gonna get Caleb in on this? And because I have been having some problems with Caleb, with the main character syndrome. But I felt with this episode that was lessened a lot, and I appreciate that. And I really like the mascot thing. Like, as soon as I saw the pennants up for the different mascots, I got so excited. And somebody in the chat at the very start of the episode saying, it's like, but who's got Moopsy as a mascot?
Oh,
We do. It's Strange New Pod. Moopsy is our mascot.
Yeah, I honestly, I was not into it the first time I watched the episode. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's going to be an episode that I'm gonna be. Well, it's not bad by anything. Like, it is good, but I was like, prank war, I'm not into it. I think it's also very American, like the prank thing between like in college. Like, it's not something we have, or maybe we now do, but not when I was in college. So I was just like, yeah, why not? I know it from like teen TV, So I was like, it's just like the mandatory Christmas episode. I'm just gonna go through it, But I actually really like what they did with it. When I rewatched the episode, and I rewatched like 3 or 4 times, I kept seeing more things. And as you were saying, like the rivalry between Darim and Genesis, and also how Mir and Caleb and Jaden are like out of this, they don't want to be part of this, is really interesting to me. Like, I kept seeing more and more layers of how the group work, and also how they react to the prank. And I think that it is now every episode we see of Starfleet Academy has this very, we're going to do a prank war in the college. And then there's a bit behind, I'm starting to speak French, and behind him there's like layers and layers and layers of tweaks that make the story way more interesting. And I think I said that the last episode. This show has so many things going on the back of it, because they're shooting in real sets, and there's so many things going on, like the pennants with like the mascots, the little tweaks, like the deltaification of everything also cracks me up.
Yeah,
deltas everywhere. And every bit of dialogue is so interesting. They keep adding little pieces of that world that in the end they go back to it, and they're like, oh, that's such an interesting piece for the character. Like the locker talk, is around Darim, who we learn after that he's making up shit. Or is he not? Or like, is it a facade? Like, we'll talk about him later. But I am just really interesting in everything that goes on. And I make everybody wait for the outline, because I watch the episode with subtitles on Thursday morning, and I catch so many more things where I was like, whoa. Like, the questions that are raised in that conversation are so interesting. The way it's said, the way they go around all this. So this is the end of the long cold open. I don't think it's like cold open at this point. We have wet cadets that are so mad at what is happening, and we start the episode with Laura Thok, who goes to meet Nala Ake in her office about the prank war. Because, friends, if the Shannon once, they will Shannon again.
I fucking love that so much.
Should they kill it in the cradle? Or teach them how to fish? What is their business? Apparently, risk is not their business in Starfleet Academy. Teaching them how to fish is their business. Nala is pro kid shit. When Laura seems to see the respectability of the Academy in danger and everything she has bet upon. We get really the idea that this is an experiment and everybody is kind of scared for what that experiment is gonna become, right? They have a very interesting conversation about education, which is what I love in that show. About the question of, should you guide, should you tell, should you show, should you stop, should you tell them you know better? What do you think, first of all, of Gina Yashiri and Holly Hunter playing off each other, and also this whole conversation about what is the educational philosophy of Starfleet Academy?
First off, they are displaying some really great chemistry together in the scene, particularly. You know, we can see like very two different distinct styles of educational like approaches, right? With Nala, not yes, she's into kid shit. She said we're in the business of teaching these kids how to fish. She's not necessarily against the pranks and that. How did she phrase it? Basically that she didn't feel that they needed their handheld either. And Laura Thok comes that little tidbit about how she was a graduate from the War College, and that kind of really gives you an insight into her approach. She's into, you know, we talked about like how the War College kids are all disciplined in that, and you know the Academy kids and that, yeah, they're all a bit weird, they're a bit nerdy, but at the same time they're in Starfleet. And Laura Thok is there to teach them discipline, probably something that, you know, a lot of them really never got a chance at before, which is going to be important to them in the future. You know, it's making your own bed. The first thing you do, wake up, make your bed. They really show off the different roles that they're playing in this. And the conversation was great.
MC?
Yeah, so I think that this scene is really what sets this show apart from like a Revenge of the Nerds homage, because you're actually getting like the point of view of the teachers, and it's not Robot House. It's like they're actually like engaging with the students, and it's like kind of, how do we use this as like a teachable moment for them? It does seem like that's the thing with everything that comes from Nala. It's like, how do we use this to turn these into the best Starfleet officers we can? And that's something that doesn't surprise me from this character, just from what we've found out about her. It does seem like it's not even so much about Starfleet Academy. It's about just having containment for life lessons, which I really like. And yeah, they shenaned one shenanigan. Like that is, I love wordplay, and so that's perfect. Lyra, super quick, becoming one of my absolute favorite characters in the Star Trek franchise. And like there might be some prosthetics once I eventually come back to conventions, because I love her so much. And I think that the actresses do such a great job working against each other. They do definitely have different energies, but they work so well together.
Yeah, I really love this conversation because I think it is rare to see education portrayed in an honest and true way on TV. I think one of the other show who does it is Abbott Elementary.
Yep.
Weirdly, I watch Abbott Elementary and I'm like, yeah, this is my job. I recognize it. But that conversation that they have I don't know if you know that, but we write philosophy of education when we apply to be teachers, which is like what education means to you and what do you want to do. And it's important that we all have different philosophy because we can help students in different way, right? And I recognize myself so deeply in what Nala says, that they all come with baggage. They all have a lot of things going on. Like that's when she talked to Kel, right? But and the fact that she's here to teach them how to fish. Like she's not gonna fish for them. She's not gonna show them. She's gonna teach them. And that whole question about empathy and patience that we're gonna talk about later, like really, really, really resonated with me. And I love that also those two have such respect for each other. The way they discuss, the way they don't agree. They don't agree at all, right? On what they should be doing and how they should be doing it. But they still are able to have such an interesting, deep, and respectful conversation on the different vision of how to deal with a student problem. And I think this is so inspiring because we spend a lot of time, especially when you're in the leadership in education, to how to address those questions with other educators, and I think it was very, I don't know, not emotional, but it was very I felt seen. I was like, yes, this is what teachers do, this is what educators do, this is what we do when we talk with each other, and this is what our job is about. And I'm so happy that Starfleet Academy is getting this right, with also characters that are like so interesting and actresses that are so amazing. I love this scene. I wish I could show it to new teachers, young teachers, and be like, yeah, you can punish, you can act, you can get in, and be like, no, don't do that, or you can also let the thing go, run their way, and see what happens. I always say, like, as long as nobody's actively dying, let them figure it out. It's okay. Nobody's bleeding. Anybody's bleeding? Nobody's bleeding. It's okay.
I have to say, this was a very good episode for positive representation of various things, and we will definitely be getting more into that later.
Yeah. Okay, it's botany class time. Oh yeah, beautiful grounds, by the way. Again, the Athena is bigger in the inside. How do they fit that giant botany hall that they have there? The cadets are enraged by the war colleague's provocation and the man of Nala, that she helps them and that she basically puts an end to it. Instead of being a general marching or cadet to war, she tells them to tend to their garden. Very Voltaire, right? The lesson has already started and they don't even know. We talk about lack of imagination again. Interesting. It's twice that it happens in Star Trek that we talk about lack of imagination. The art of war and Vitus Reflux. It's bad Latin. It doesn't mean anything in Latin. These are two words that don't exist in Latin. Yeah. So I don't know why, but anyway. Learn patience and your garden and respect for your enemy. What do you think of that turn of event for a captain? Not being the one leading the action, but trying to hint them towards the right answer. And also a new Star Trek creator, voiced by Lily Du. Thank you, MC, for spotting that. So many dropout alum of voicing random things in Starfleet Academy.
Which is funny, getting dropout people for an Academy show.
I love it. I love it.
I want in every single episode, I want to drop out cast member.
Hawk?
The lesson, I love the way she implants the lesson to them, in that basically, like, they don't see the, it's one of those things, you can't see it until you see the whole picture, and that it's more of a matter of trust in her. She's trying to build trust in them in her own way. Because we previously mentioned, yes, like, in her conversation with Laura Thok, and that she reminds them a lot of these kids came here in cargo holds. They're children of the burn. trust is a big thing, and the way she goes about it is very interesting. The patience of gardening,
Yeah.
not something that's very, it's very hard to teach to kids, right? Especially ones who want instant results. It's about patience. Yes, it is about patience. It's about tending your own garden. They might not get it at first. I love at the end when it all comes together and what they actually experience. Yeah, I like her teaching approach.
MC?
Part of me wonders if they decided to make the main credits after coming up with this episode, because it does feel very much like the main credits are, a plant growing, representing these kids kind of learning, taking root and everything. And this is very much what Nala is doing, is that she is tending the garden of her little, academy seedlings. And it's metaphor upon metaphor, and I really like it. I have read The Art of War. I think it is super overrated. But when you're in this situation, it does make sense to pull from that. As I said before, like having Lily do as a voice
Fungus.
as a fungus, it's just so freaking cool. I am a little disappointed that this plant is a fungus and we did not get a mention of Stamets.
Oh, damn, missed
True,
opportunity.
Yeah. Maybe the botany lab is called Stamets. That would be fun. He's still alive, maybe not. Maybe later. I just like that she takes the time.
Yes.
Mhm.
That she goes and listens to them and let them vent, and then be like, food and go. And I love that they just all calm down, take the thing, and start doing. And that's again like so telling of the relationship that is building, and how I see the classroom. It's like, yeah, okay, everything is so important when you're young because everything takes so long. I was like, imagine a day when you're 20 is like what percentage of your whole life. Difference of like a day when you're 40, and it is important. It is important for them. And she takes the time as a chancellor to go in the classroom and try to teach them something. And I like that. Yeah, it's about patience, but it's also about how to deal with aggressivity on your own term, and not by responding with aggressivity, but by ending it on your own term. And I really like the fact that she chooses botany for that. Even if the end game is to do a prank, right?
Yeah.
I like that it's the patience and the growth. And, we talk a lot about growth in education, a lot more than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was not about growth. It was about result. Like right now, how do you get it? They don't care that you got 20, 30, 50% more than like 5 months ago.
Mhm.
It's like, now what is it? And now I feel education is really about growth. And when we take you where you are and where you end up at the end. So I like that she just takes the time. For me, like time is such a precious commodity, especially when you get older. Right?
Michelle in the chat asked if the plant seemed like a very close relative to the plant from Little Shop of Horrors, and absolutely, this is very Audrey coded.
Very much so.
And I love it because Little Shop of Horrors is one of my favorite movies. The director's cut, not the original, and actually, like, the way they did the ending on this is very director's cut of Little Shop of Horrors coded.
The fact that the thing just started talking like sent me so bad. When it's not like any strategy. I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid and it's so funny at the same time. It's totally useless, by the way, in the whole thing.
Absolutely.
But I love it. It's so funny. In the meantime, Genesis is assembling our troops for the culty school war, spirit war that Caleb is not about. I respect Caleb. I hate team sports. I hate it so bad. And she force enrolled Mir by stealing his insignia, his delta. We get Coach Reno.
Yes.
Thank you. Nerd jock hybrid. Very lesbian icon. I feel like I think Tig Notaro is becoming a not becoming, because I think she's always been. But I hope everybody have seen that video of a woman throwing her red bra at her. Have you seen that video?
I have not seen that. I need to find that. That's
I'm gonna send
amazing.
it. It's on my Instagram. Go. I posted it, and it is so funny.
Yeah, pantheon of sapphic women. Just
she says that she has a middle life crisis, and that she wants a red sports bra instead of a red sports car, right? And she's on stage talking, like doing a live recording of a podcast, and somebody throws a bright red sports bra at her, and she takes it, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, water from my brother Tig Notaro." Anyway, she's Coach Reno, and we discover Lappy, the Lapling mascot of the Kalika game. This is so stupid. I love it. But also, we discover the preparation for the Kalika games, which is a real war situation, right? The whole scene is totally insane. We have shots going through Sam, Darem and Life, Remy and Life, Darem and Genesis fighting for the honor of being the captain. What do we think of the Kalika game and that real life combat training? Like, it is a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is very clearly said that it is combat training. Finally, an answer where Starfleet stands on combat.
Well, so it was a great set piece for the show. Like that whole training thing, like, you know, that seemed like the Danger Room in the X-Men series. I think I'd really like to play Calica after seeing that.
I mean, it's not laser tag though.
It's not laser tag, and that you're going to get some bumps and bruises. But then again, you know, paintball isn't laser tag either. I've done that. Jet Reno, like, yeah, Tig Notaro, she has been funny for a long, long time, but it's only really in the last few years she really kind of getting her moment, between, like, Discovery. God, there was that she did that role in Army of the Dead, which is not a great movie, but she had some of the funniest scenes in that,
Oh, she's the helicopter pilot.
She's a
right?
helicopter pilot, and there's a scene where the helicopter is basically just frying.
is that the one where they reshot her into the movie?
Yes, because they fired the other person.
Yeah. And I had a very homosexual moment looking at one of the promo shots of her.
Yeah,
I have a lot of homosexual moments, to be fair, though.
But the scene is basically her. She's dealing with a helicopter that is just going down the tubes, and they're calling in, checking for an update, and she's like, just giving it the old spit shine and a wax and a detail before I bring her in. I love her. Where was I here?
the Kalika games.
The Kalika games. Yes, I know. Genesis and Buddy in that, competing to see who's going to be, like, the captain. And seeing him, like, he is. Why is he in Starfleet and not the War College in that? Because he definitely thinks there's an I in team, and that's him. And yes, I get that. That definitely there's family pressure on him and that to excel and to not only excel, to be the number one, the best, but the way he goes about it, and that he phones in on Genesis, finds a weakness, takes advantage of it, and basically just slimes his way to the top of the captain's chair for this team. I almost really hated his character.
We're gonna talk about Darem,
Yep.
and I want to talk about Darem. Like, in depth.
Yeah.
Because that's really a Darren episode. I
It
think.
really is. Yeah.
It really is. I didn't
so,
think
yeah.
we'd get this much kind of time, but yeah, I'm really glad to see it actually, that they're flushing. They're not just side characters, and that they're really trying to flush them out.
MC?
Wow, this game. I can't say it really surprises me. Like, we already know that like Parisi squares can actually be fatal. Like, what was it that
That's what Mariner
voyage?
loves it so much.
Yeah. But yeah, so this doesn't surprise me, and it does kind of fit with the here's a game that we're going to play. And we're just a regular school, training you to be scientists and not, paramilitaristic, So yeah, it fits. And I don't know, it's super funny. Just seeing how these kids are not prepared for it. It makes sense to me that these kids who are mostly coming to be, scientists and this kind of stuff are not prepared for war games. These are fucking war games. I would definitely in future episodes like to see things approached with Darem and Genesis regarding whether or not they really want to be on the command track, because I do get the impression from both of them that a lot of that stems primarily from parental pressure. And so I would like to see them explore whether or not it's their interest. Like, I mean, I have no problem if they explore it and it turns out, yes, this is actually what I'm into. But I kind of want to have that moment. And of course, I've also talked before of how I kind of get ticked off by people who immediately just want to end up in the captain's chair. People who all they want to do is wear that red uniform. I'm somebody who much prefers the characters who come from the Cisco and Janeway school of things, where it's like Cisco was an engineer who got, promoted up, and Janeway was a scientist who got promoted up. I prefer that kind of stuff to somebody who's just like, my only goal is to end up in the chair.
So. I think that that's an interesting question to have. I think that also there's a question of how do they have the ability to be in the chair, and I don't think it's necessarily something that you breed out of people. You breed into people. And I think it's an interesting question. I would love to see a little bit of a doll thing going on with Darren, maybe. And I feel like Mira definitely has a Mariner thing going on with him, for sure. And so these trying to figure themselves out. The Caligav game was so fun. Like, I love the fact that it's not mandatory. Like, Jaden doesn't do it. And so that I really like, that it's only if they want to do it, they do that game. And I feel it's combat training, but I don't think the Academy considers it combat training. But it's an extracurricular. It's like, you want to do Paris Square or Kalika, and or judo or God knows what. And this is a thing that you can do if you want to. And it's unhinged. There's fire and rocks. Akuma is just screaming and people are falling. It's just hilarious to me that it's a game. Which is insane, right? Yep. And so I think that it's interesting to still have this very militaristic thing in Starfleet, but I like the fact that it was not part of the main curriculum and it's just considered fun, which is insane fun. I mean, I'd play it. Wouldn't you play it?
Oh, definitely.
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd try.
Yeah.
I want to, the moment where Lura just shoots Caleb. Do not be late again. I was like, oh my god, this is so funny. I think the fact that they're shooting each other just to transport each other is hilarious. It was so fun. But after war games, love is in the air. Aww. Tarima and Caleb are discussing their situation, right? But also Jaden and Kyle. I am so here for this.
Here for it.
And the power couple of the show, Laura Reno. I know we're not necessarily super pro romance when it comes out of nowhere and we don't know what to do with it. But how do we think those are tackled? Is everything gonna be all right? Oh,
yeah, like I said, I'm fully here for it. I'm going to commit to a teen drama, then I got to be there for the romance too. And then so far, I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. Laura and Reno, that was like my what the fuck moment, and I was so here for it. It's I don't know what it is with Jet Reno. It's just everything is just so cool. It's like, relax, my love, and that everything will be fine. Same.
it's gonna be all right. Hawk.
It's gonna be all right.
It's gonna be all right.
I'm sorry, you set up the pun and I totally missed it. I was we had mentioned before that possibly Jaden might be our first kind of representation of clear Klingon culture. So this will be interesting. Jaden is such a different character in that he goes out of his way to avoid conflict. Completely unklingon of him. But then again, maybe he's a reflection of the changes that the culture might have gone through over like the past 900 years.
Yeah, but he needs blood.
He needs blood. Oh, of course. Some things never change.
In all the food, blood, or it's not food. It needs
rip
to
it
be
open.
screaming.
Yep. Rip it apart.
MC?
Oh my God. I love all of this. I love that Tarima never seems to not be in control of things with Caleb. Like, seriously, she's got Caleb's balls in her purse, and I'm here for it. I need it. Jaden and Kyle, I adore it. I did from the first episode, I did have the little gaydar pinging. So whatever's going on here, I like it. But I need to talk about Laura and Reno because you cannot believe. I was watching this at stupid o'clock in the morning, so I could not scream.
When you woke up to go run and,
yes, exactly.
Your Vulcan alphabet.
Exactly. But I wanted to scream so loudly at this because anyone who has listened to even just a few of our episodes knows just how much I've been banging on about Star Trek's dip in quality of their queer representation, and in particular their women loving women.
Say it.
They're women loving
Cat
women. Cat butt. Sorry, Gandalf has decided to enter the chat. They're women loving women queer representation. We have not had enough of it, and when we have had it, it's been, I'm gonna say it, low quality. I like the idea of Seven and Raffi, but they never treated that relationship with any fucking respect because it only ever appeared in the last episode of any season, and then the next season they'd hit a reset. So I do not respect that at all. I've gone on for way too long about Chapel's, sapphic leanings or lack thereof. So having Reno and Laura being treated so casually, where it's just it's a fact, it is an established couple, by doing it with your adults on a teen drama, you're setting it up to be a position where they can be in a steady relationship, and it doesn't have to be this back and forth, makeup breakup situation. They can just steadily be together. They do seem to steadily be together. Reno gave up Discovery for her. That's a huge deal if you think that Reno jumped 1,000 years into the future to be with Discovery. So these were the only people like she knew. And she decided, no, this person is important enough to me that I want to give all of that up. And it's wonderful that Reno, somebody who lost their first wife, that are they married already? I want to know that. And yeah, Reno calling her kitten was just like perfect. And I am in love with Tig Notaro. I have been for years, and I still am. And I want this so much. And the way they dropped it in, just so matter-of-factly, but then also having it clearly be a surprise.
I kind of like spotted it in episode 2 when they're talking at the reception around the table, and I was like, oh, there's a familiarity here. I like it. And if the show doesn't do it, it's gonna be my headcanon 1000%.
Very much, yeah.
So when that scene happened, and I like how everything like is done kind of like no big deal. You know what I mean? It's like this backdrop I'm talking about, where like basically she's talking to Darren about like the problem, him not being able to reach his parents, quotation mark, and this whole conversation happens as a side note, like, you didn't put the replicator for the turd again, and I'm like, what? what? I'm like, forget Darren, I don't want to know about him. What do you mean? And the whole conversation is so stupid again, like, and I say stupid very lovingly, but so, you know, that daily conversation you have with your partner of like food stuff, that, oh, I didn't defrost the chicken, I'm sorry, yeah, I've been doing things. What do you mean? I was like, what are we gonna eat? They're like, Mexican, I want to eat Mexican. And like the everyday feeling of this conversation that are not grandiose and are not like, oh, I am married to the chef, is like, I want my fucking Klingon French fusion food right now, and because of you I'm not gonna have this thing. And like that, you know, and when she says like, I left Starship at the age of creation for her, and I'm like, I'm so happy for Reno because she saw her wife die. She had like just this crazy origin story, right? And she's just so peaceful and so happy in the academy, and it just they have a great, and also I have to say, great representation again, because both actresses are gay and they're playing gay characters, and I'm here for it. Like, I love everything about this. And Jaden and Kyle, again, I love how it's like, you know, not the main story. It's just like they're talking and you see right away that Kyle is interested, like right away. I like that. But I don't know that Jaden is picking up what he's laying down. I am not certain. Though the Zola and Biavi are just like, they're looking at each other and they know that they know what's going on and they're interested by it. So
I think Jaden might need to go on a mission of discovery. He's yeah. She's talking about these everyday conversations. I think that this is something that I've felt was really missing from all of the modern Star Treks, and that because we don't have the 24 episode seasons where we can have like these moments where a random thing comes up, we can devote, you know, an entire B plot to Rom being in love with Lita and not being able to talk to her about it. That's not something that we get in like Discovery or even Strange New Worlds. But just having like this little moment in Starfleet Academy, it makes the world feel so much more layered, because in this scene there is this conversation with Laura and Reno. There is this tension with Jaden and Kyle, and do we think that that's going to come to the forefront at all? No, it can just be a moment. Maybe it will become something, but for now it could just be a, did I see what I thought I saw?
Yeah, I love this. I like that we're like stuck on Jaden and Laura. The chat is about Torima. And okay, chat. Yes,
calm
we
down,
like them
chat.
too, but they're all news by now. They're all news by now. They're like last episode.
Yeah, they're fine. We like them, but queer representation, rise.
Yes, absolutely. Eric says, I feel the casual conversation had been one of Lower Deck's strengths. And I agree. That's definitely a very Lower Decky thing. And I love it personally. Well, let's talk about our rivals, our hated rivals, Genesis and Darim. They come to a tie because they cannot let go. And we were talking about how much pressure, apparently, I mean, Darim for sure. Genesis, we're not sure what pressure comes from their parents. They have to do target practice instead of digging each other's grave. I think people need to listen to Laura's more. She has great ideas. To separate them and decide who the captain is gonna be. Darim wins with questionable means. By kind of throwing off Genesis, talking about her daddy issue, which she talked about it to him, right? And we see Darim is doing the opening log, putting message, and the closing message. And we see that Darim is way more complicated than what he wants to appear to his peers. Where does that leave Genesis? Where does that leave us? Is Darim going to be the guy we all despise? What do we think of their family trouble behind them? Are they more alike than they think, Hawk?
They're definitely more alike than they think. The ridiculous exercise routines. And the need to please the authority figures. In their case, their parents. It's. I don't think, I know they've definitely had a learning moment in this episode. I don't know if we're done with it. I think, hopefully we get kind of a little more backstory on the pressures behind them. Yeah, Darren really showed something in that with the way he won the match, calling her out. But she also showed something too in that, because he honed in on a weakness and she responded in kind in that. With everything that was going on in that, she still took that time to fire back at him. Which cost her, initially cost her the role of captain. I enjoyed seeing that, but I like that. I don't think that they're two characters who are just going to be stuck in that one place in their lives. And that I think basically they are here to learn, and they're going to be learning a bit about themselves and about expectations from others and what that actually means to them going forward. So. Yeah, I enjoyed this part.
MC?
Yeah, no, Durham's not going to be the guy that we all despise. I was racking my brain to try to figure out who Durham reminds me of, and it's not an apples to apples comparison, but I feel like Durham reminds me of, and I think people are going to laugh when I say this, but Rog Barkrock from Dimension 20 Fantasy High, the jockey bully guy, because in the first season, jock bully guy, is not getting along with any of the main cast. But then when he becomes comfortable with himself, I don't think that Darum's going to become comfortable with himself in the same way Rog does, but he becomes everybody's best friend. He's just so fucking loyal, and I can see that in Darum, especially with this episode. You can see how much the familial pressure is making him this hyper competitive, do anything to get to the top. And I think that is influencing absolutely everything. And Star Trek has always been about kind of this family of choice, and these kids are definitely we can see how many of them don't have families at all or have kind of crappy families. And I think that once they kind of get comfortable, they are going to find themselves in this family, and I think Darum's going to be just so loyal to all of them.
I was really interested in how Darum's stories just unfolded, from saying he's slept with the sister and the cousin and all this, and his scar on his side, and how he wants to be the captain. And we're going to talk about but the fact also that I don't think he expected Genesis to react like she did during the game when he tells her about that issue. I think he was bantering and trying to throw up, but when she turns and she's like, "You're such a piece of shit," like I think he still wins because that's what he wants to do. But I think that really makes him like reflect on also how he comes from a culture of bullying. Like when he talks about like having his finger bleeding, like playing that instrument, right? And the moment he did one wrong note, his parent left the room.
Yeah.
And how he keeps sending them messages and they don't answer. He is looking for approval from his family that he will never get. And I think that he realized that he can get approval from his peers that are not bought approval, like his posses, of like randos that are like after him. And I think Darren is intelligent. And I love also how George Hawkins is like playing those like very fine emotion on that. You see he's hurting, you see he's lying, you see he gets like into the mode of like force and ego because that's all he knows, but he's also very able to have like this reflection about everything. And I think it was very that there how Genesis reacts to what happens, how she still is part of the game and she still go and play. I think was just very interesting how they developed this character. They never follow the cliche of what you expect, teens to act in those like, more like school drama thing. And they're all so complex. So I like that they managed to resolve all of that kind of in one episode. They don't let it linger. But yeah, I think it was just very interesting.
Yeah. I do think that Darum is a really good representation, and this is weird because he is an alien, but of WASP culture.
Yeah.
In that, I mean, he's surprised that Genesis gets upset, and that is entirely because he comes from a culture, or he comes from a family where when you get upset, you swallow it, and eventually you'll die.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Genesis has a totally different approach. When she says something shitty to Caleb, I don't remember what it is, she says right away, shitty comments retracted. Because she realized that Caleb's reaction is kind of like thrown off. And she's like, okay, I went too far. I didn't want to say that. And they have a very different approach to leadership, which is going to come to a head in the Calica game.
Yep.
The War College isn't done. While Darren is being celebrated by his whooping posse of dudes, as Jaden calls them, they strike the cadets a second time with a diss video, making fun of the Starfleet Academy promotional advertisement or whatever that is. They did. Nala needs to go address it with Kelric because she knows that it's coming from above. They had access to footage that they should not have access to. And we finally discovered the office of the off-putting chancellor of the War College and the extent of his tea fetish. Not a foot fetish, thank God, because she's always barefoot everywhere. But he aided the War College with the prank. Nala argues for a leveled playing field between the cadets who don't need to be reminded that life is unfair. Again, I loved everything she said in that conversation. What do we think about Kelric? Real fast, because we're getting along. I have so many things I want to talk about.
I definitely think she went a little extra this time around in that to put him off. With what was going on with that thing she was wearing on her feet. It looked like some sort of like a chain kind of. It's not a shoe. It's not a sock.
No, it's a foot jewel. You put that you put it around your ankle and then around one of your foot, one of your toe, and it's just on top of your foot.
Okay. Yeah. Kelric is he's a douchebag in that he's basically the perfect kind of war. If this were Animal House, he would be Dean Warner in that, the crusty old Dean. But it was nice. The conversation together was great, but it's obvious he thinks of that everything is a nail that has to be hammered. I think, that's the lesson he's imparting to his kids. versus hers, and that who has said like, they know life is hard, and that we don't need them to show them more of that. Great conversation. Kelrick sucks, and T fetish. Come on,
MC.
Yeah, so the video would have been a really good prank if they had done it by themselves, if they hadn't actually involved their chancellor. Because the thing is, when it involves the chancellor, then it actually seems very, unlike Kelrick's tea, lukewarm. And I mean, the tea fetish thing, when you come from a society with replicators where you can get tea to like an exact temperature, you being such a fuss budget about it really isn't that much of a flex. So, just relax, my dude. I said it last time. I don't care for him. I think that, he's got a rod up his ass, just like, a meter long. I might have said that just because I used a meter stick to close my door after my cat opened. But yeah, I mean, Nala's a little bit of a hypocrite because she obviously did plant the seeds of the big prank that kind of shuts down the war. So I think it's like, it's not even that Nala doesn't respect that he was involved, but that it wasn't a very good prank, and it wasn't a prank that would end the war.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I know, but I'm interested by Kelrick. I don't think he's necessarily wrong. Again, he's the chancellor of the War College. He was in this position for some time. I think even when the Discovery showed up, and he lives in a world that is changing, right? Where the War College was everything that was all the United Earth together, where basically they were the protection of United Earth that we see in Discovery, right? That they have to fight endlessly. They have like this shield and all this, and he takes his job seriously. Like, those kids are gonna go to war, and then everything gets shifted at under his feet, and he has. Well, they didn't even ask him to adapt to anything. They just like throw him with Starfleet Academy next door and Nala Ake. And he has this vision of life is bad and they need to be ready, and they need to know how to fight, which is not necessarily wrong in itself, because life is unfair and life gets bad. And if you know that, you're ready. But also, they're trying to not be this society anymore, and they're trying to grow into something else. And I think this conversation is very interesting, of like a culture in change, basically, that is trying to reevaluate their value and shift their value towards open-minded instead of, like protection mode. And I think Kelrick just hasn't gotten the memo. I mean, they didn't even tell him that he needed to change anything, you know what I mean? And he's a great War College chancellor on this. He knows his job, but I love that they made the character just a weirdo.
Well, he's one of those people that uses like an advanced hobby, I guess they call it, instead of a fetish, and that in place of an actual personality.
Yeah. But I also I appreciate Nala advocating for the kid, being like, they grew up in like transport and in they saw shit. They don't need to see shit now because they know the shit. They have seen it. And I think it's different. Like his cadets are like Nivari and humans, from Earth. Like, we have been like protected planets during the burn. And I think there's like I think it comes from a place of privilege. And I think the conversation is super interesting. What happens when you open education to not only people who are privileged, and you get this conversation? I think he's a weirdo, but I really
I think we shouldn't pick at people with advanced hobbies in place of personalities, because some of us might feel personally attacked.
But I mean, she says, of all fetishes, tea. As
somebody who drinks nearly unless I'm drinking water, I'm drinking tea. Yeah, he takes it way too far.
But I like also that he likes tea because there's a ceremony to it. There is a rule, and she just like doesn't do anything he's telling her just to mess with to mess with him, and I love how petty petty. I don't know how she goes like just she's keen like to just see how he's gonna react. Well, the cadet have decided to go to a Hop the Book Kalika game in the atrium after hours to prove themselves to each other, to end the war, not listening to Nala's Nala's recommendation. That game is going to prove the limit of Darem's imagination, but that's also where Genesis' true strategical mind shines, playing to her team strength rather than brute force. Lura and Reno interrupt the game, sends the kid to the principal, and we get to see her warp core pajamas.
Yes.
Put those in the store right now. I need them.
Oh my god, when the kids are like, what is on this? She's like, warp cores.
Are those accordions?
Oh my god, I love this so much. She's such a nerd. Patience and empathy. You want to end the war, show some growth. The lesson continues, and it's Genesis which finally is going to pick up what she's laying down again, like understanding where she's like getting them, and it's heist of the war college. I'm going to talk about those two things like in parallel because I thought it was really interesting how they were edited and how they were shot, and also the music and everything. The Kalika game is definitely an action kind of badass, sequence, and the heist is definitely a Starfleet Ocean 11 with the music. They didn't do like the separated like screen, but we were like so close, right? How do you feel like about those like in this intrusion of different genre in one episode, and also what it brings to the dynamic of the show?
It was great to see. Like, yes, they're doing this game of Calica and that, and they're trying to compete with the War College on the War College's level and that, and under Darem's leadership and that, which was utter failure in that, because like all he's got is like his parents' lessons in leadership and that, and that's to bully them and that, yelling at Genesis and that. And it's like, what are you doing? You're missing all the time and that, and then him getting put in the penalty box. Yeah, he shows that like the cap for him being the captain of a team is pretty much like, a title only position. He's not really qualified yet to be there, maybe in a few years, but no. And in this case, yeah, Genesis gets a lesson on that. It's like, okay, we can't compete with them on their level and that. They're a war college and that they know tactics, strategy, blah, 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 and that. So let's approach them from let's approach them from Starfleet level and that, monitor your environment, use what's there, and use the abilities of your teammates, because that's what it's all about. And then, yes, the switch over to the heist, and that was great, because like in this, you see the lesson come through that that Nala was trying to teach in her so weird coded way. It was fantastic.
With the eye. She does like the eye thing.
Just like
so
Liam,
funny.
I know. And the fact that like her outrage was like completely outlandish, and like really I think the kids kind of picked up on that. Like, is she mad? Maybe she is. She did, she kind of seemed it, but no, she also seemed like like weirdly humorous about the whole thing. Yeah, I love the payback. It was so very layered, and the fact that like with that extra little bit, like that they're under inspection as well as Starfleet 2, and they've just like performed a prank that they cannot remove. They're actually legally constrained from removing their prank.
MC?
Yeah, so I think Tara mentioned in the chat how Darem and Genesis are a bit like Dal and Gwyn from Prodigy. And I can definitely see that, because I was talking before how I think that the show needs to address whether or not they actually want to be command track. And I could see that with them. And especially with this scene, I think that Genesis is command track material. I think that this is like a passion for her, but I think Thrym needs to actually kind of look at whether or not he really wants to do that, or if it's just that he wants to do it because it's expected of him.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you go to Starfleet if not to become a captain? I think that is some toxic thinking from his family that he needs to unlearn. And I really feel like that's kind of where they're going with his character. Now, the heist. Now, we have seen heists in Star Trek before. And it's funny that you mentioned that there's not like the De Palma style, like split screen.
Yeah.
They did this so well that I didn't realize they didn't do it.
Right? I was like, I went back and looked at it and was like, wait, did they do it? Maybe they did it. And it was so well. Again, the edit, like how the show is edited, it is so good.
It really
Like,
is.
it really is. Who is editing the show?
Yeah, this was so much fun. I really liked it. I do have to say, I love the Mugatu costume. I do wish that we had maybe heard a couple of different pronunciations of it. I could almost hear Tawny in the writer's room like really fighting for that, and the others being, it's like, no, we only hear it like twice. We can't like actually say it more than once. So I like that Therima is the one that kind of ends, or really sets off the alarm, and she does it by appealing to Caleb's hormones. They have a nice dynamic. I like them, and I think that, I mean, I've been like the person who's really been kind of championing the idea of these teen romances or young adult romances. I'm going to call them teen romances because I feel like teen romances. It works for me. I like that it's not, she's not just there to be a love interest. She is there as to be somebody to challenge him. So I like that.
I love these two scenes together. I think like I would like to speak even more about this show. We're already like going long, but like I was so interested how like they had different feeling, and how basically the Kaliki game is really under Darem leadership, and then the heist is under Genesis leadership. And the main difference, and it's such a Star Trek lesson, is like everybody has something to bring to the table, and without everyone you cannot succeed. You need every single strength in every single weirdo that is part of your crew to go to the end game. And this is what it is about to be a crew, right? And that's what I love about Star Trek, because it is the idea that we cannot go to the final frontier without every single one of us, even the one that doesn't have ribs, even the one that cannot eat banana, even the one, and I love the fact that this is the strength of Genesis. It is that she knows what every single one of them can do, and she manages the heist by bringing in Jaden and being like, it is going to be non-violent, but I need you. And each of them do for that heist something that the others could not have done. And this is such a beautiful, like, coming together. I know it was Nala's ID at the ID in the end, but it is how it is executed that is such a Star Trek episode, right? Like the fact that Darem has this thing with the DNA that he can do, and then Jaden does the science, and then Sam does the, like there's everybody comes together into a perfect thing. I mean, Caleb kind of like gets caught.
Caleb's there. Participation trophy.
But it's cute, right? And I really like how those two scenes mirror each other while being super fun, while having very different music, while having different tones and colors. And it was just like rewatching the episode like 5 times. I was like, whoa, like I totally passed through those being, this is stupid, and then the other one is like, fun. And then I was like, there is so many things that we can see. So I love the fact that, well, show some growth is actually what they needed to do all along. The War College is utterly pranked. And the war is over. The Vitus Reflux is a protected species, so they cannot get rid of it. Nala gains the respect of Mir very clearly in that little interaction they have in her office. He comes to ask her about his love affairs and like how to deal with somebody who is always afraid. Genesis also, I think, has really renewed respect and admiration for Nala. She just becomes like their guide. She literally is the one who would teach them how to fish, and they see it now. Talk to them with patience and empathy instead of choosing fear. This is the end of the episode. What do you think in general about this episode? Last thoughts. Where do you stand now that we're on third episode of the Academy? Hawk?
Already, I'm here for it. Like, we kind of, among us, we had kind of thought this was a little bit on the weaker side in that, but again, we come together, we talk about it, we rewatch these episodes together, and through discussion, realize that it's 3 episodes in, this is going really strong for this series so far. Good writing, good acting, editing. It's giving us things that we didn't even know we really wanted from the show.
Agreed. MC?
So before I give my final thoughts, I want to speak on this last scene. And that is, it really speaks to how real like all of the sets and the props and everything are because of how fake the plants looked. Because the plants were very CGI. And the thing is, that's fine. Like, that's something that, of course, they're going to CGI it. And it stood out to me because this show is so grounded and using so many actual things, which is something that I haven't. A lot of the effects like blend in on things like Strange New Worlds, where everything is kind of on the volume. Gandalf, just stay where you are. I'm almost done.
Your cat has opinion. He has opinion.
He absolutely does. But as for the episode itself, this one, I mean, I had been warned by various people that was like, oh, episode 3 is kind of, we don't know how to feel about it. So I was really worried going into it.
I was the people.
Yeah, you and Julian were like, I don't really know about episode 3. But when I actually got to watching it, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for from Starfleet Academy. So it makes me very happy.
Again, rewatching all this, I think that it is so well done on like the complexity of interacting with younger people when you're not, and like she's 400, like even Kelric is a baby for her, and I think that it is so well done because you can see like on Holly Hunter's face, like the moment when Caleb is asking her about like, what do you do? Like, I'm asking you as a person. And she's like, oh, here, I've done it. I've established trust. Now that they trust me and I trust them, we're going to be able to get to work. And becoming the trusted adult, especially for youth that or doesn't have them because they're shitty parents, right? Or can't have them because, well, Mir doesn't have his mother. And becoming that person that is, hey, I'm going to show you that adults are also okay. And I'm going to help you is such a rewarding moment. And I love that whole scene where he's just like, lying down on the couch and having this for the first time for Caleb, that open, posture towards Nala, because he's always trying to be taller than her, bigger than her, doing things to piss her off, like tapping on the ceiling or dismissing himself. And it's the first time where is finally being relaxed and open and talking to her. And I thought it was such a beautiful way to end that episode that is all about you don't win battles by creating fear. You don't win battles by strength. You don't win battles with ego. You don't win battles on hurting the other one. Darren does over and over again in this episode until he realizes that the lesson is you win with empathy and patience, and you win by putting things to an end under your own terms. And I think it's such a valuable lesson. I hope way more adults would be able to learn that you do not win fight by just breaking the other one. You win fights by ending the fight on your own terms, your terms, not their terms. I thought it was this episode definitely grew a lot on me.
It did, didn't it?
A lot. Okay, it is time for our mailbag, I think.
Hailing frequencies open.
It didn't work. No.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it did.
It did?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I don't care. I'm going to do it
Hailing
again.
frequencies open.
Yeah.
Here, now I heard it. Twice. Hawk, can you take Eric the Red?
Yep, 1 second. Just getting the thing open again. I closed out. I
So
heard it.
unprepared,
Eric the
Hawk.
Red. I was looking at a different message on my phone. So Eric the Red wrote, I feel like this week's episode is the show hitting its stride with focusing on other characters this week. Important lessons on true leadership, teamwork, and conflict resolution. The laser tag war game is a fun concept, which does well to explain how Starfleet taught combat training. Glad to see Genesis bring life from lifelessness by using teamwork and strategy to start a comeback against the War College. The prank resolution with the fungi was fun in a way where the Academy students learn from Aki to not back down, but also redirect and disarm the opposition. Also, even though we still at the Academy, we got my favorite new ship with Thok and Reno. Someone please tell me how French Klingon fusion cuisine works. Maybe Jaden can explain it to us.
Love that. MC, can you take JMC Trek?
JMC Trek wrote, I'll start by saying I still have one major question for Academy. Where's Tilly?
Thank you.
But moving on to the episode, even though I enjoyed the episode and I would watch it again, I was also let down by it as well. It's an episode, in my opinion, about a prank war with very little pranking. I thought there would be a couple scenes where the cadets prank the War College back unsuccessfully. I did enjoy the character development we got from Durham. We learned to both really love and hate him all at the same time. In the same episode, seeing the character growth from Genesis in this episode has skyrocketed her to the top of my favorite character list on the show.
And I'm gonna take Emily Ray. Emily Ray wrote, this was an interesting episode in that the main premise wasn't that interesting, and yet looking back, there was a lot of interesting stuff, mostly from the insight we get into Genesis and Durham. It's like underneath this simple episode, they hid deeper character development. I adored the scene where Jaden tries to distract the War College cadets. Am I the only one who think Kyle was flirty with him? Absolutely. He was. Hawk, can you take Jedi Cat?
Yes, Jedi Cat wrote 3 episodes in, and I think the show is finding its footing. Even with the teen drama tropes, there's still good character development and compelling storytelling that's both entertaining and enlightening. The war game scenes were good. The exploration of old school versus post-burn Starfleet is interesting. And I love the dynamic between Aki and the cadets. I worry that Holly Hunter might be leaning into the quirkiness too much, but she has the sheer confidence and charisma to pull it off. Frankly, I think if she were a man, her performance would be described with much kinder words than the YouTube grifters are using at the moment. To sum up my overall review of the show, so far, so good.
Thank you. And MC, can you take Dana?
Dana wrote, this was definitely my favorite episode of the season so far. It had romance, prank wars / shenanigans, backstabbing your friends to get ahead, school rivalry, and futuristic basketball. Congratulations, Starfleet Academy. You did it. You finally became the new One Tree Hill.
I've never watched that. I do not know what it is. And I'm gonna get Tara tonight. Wait, here we go. Sorry. 103. Vitus Reflux. An original pranking started by the War College. Academy fights back with gigantic talking foliage. Genesis proves her leadership. No seed escapes Ake's creative ownership. Romance blossoms, adding to their knowledge. I really enjoyed this episode, and the Shannon ones, they'll Shannon again. It's fucking brilliant. Is that Tawny? Question mark. Thank you so much, every single one of you, for joining us for this review of Starfleet Academy Episode 3, Vitus Reflux. We will see you next week. Same place, same time. I promise to not get locked off. In the meanwhile, like, subscribe, leave us a comment, say hi, join our Discord, become a patron. Who knows? Live long and prosper. Sarcastic Vulcan salute. Majram.
Release the drones.
Release the